go to the action editor and select walk. We're going to be editing the transition and latch curves, so let's go ahead and select those, and also some root curves for reference, so that gives us a good indication of what's going on. Let's go and switch IK off just for the moment and turn solo on. Let's go to the edit tab and play the simulation. What we need to do is figure out the start and end pose of the walking action. So if we go and scrub this, we can see that the walk starts and ends with the left foot down and the knees roughly parallel. So that's our transition pose. Let's go and alt drag the transition curve to the beginning. The transition curve needs to start at the start of the action. Now the latch curve, that needs to go low right towards the end. So that can transition into another action when this goes low. Now that's the walk setup. Now let's go ahead and take a look at shift. So the shift action comes from stand and then goes to stand. So we don't really need to worry about the timing here. We can just start it at the very beginning. And let's just have a look at the action again. So there's a bit of a weight shift and then settles back down. So we can probably allow it to transition out from here. So that's a shift done. Let's take a look at stand. So we'll start this at the very beginning again, and this is a very long action, so we're going to squeeze this right up at the beginning. We don't really need to complete the whole of this action, so we can transition out pretty much about near the beginning. So that would go straight into another action. Right, so let's go and do stand to walk. Now this is going to be a little bit trickier. We're going to have the transition begin just as the agent is about to set off on his walk, because we don't really want it to start with having all of this standing around before he goes. We want it to transition right into the action. So if we just see where he's just about to lean forward, about there. Now we'll need to sync this up with his left foot being down and knees parallel. So that's about there. So we can transition from there. So that should transition well with the walk action. Let's go back and have a look at the list. So we've done shift, stand, stand to walk, and walk. Walk 45L and 45R we don't need to worry about because they're blends, which means they don't get transitions. They just blend on top of the walk action. So we don't need any timing curves for those. So let's just skip to walk to stand L. So this is coming in from walk, which means we need to start with the left foot down. So about there. Needs parallel. Pretty good. And we can transition out where the agent has just settled into the stand. So about there. Right. Now all we have left is walk to stand R. So same principle. We have to find where we have the right foot down and the knees parallel, just before the stand action. So there, I believe. And for the latch, I think that should suit it well. Right, now we've got our rough timing curves for all of our actions, so they should transition nicely into each other. Now let's go and check to see if those transitions work. Go to View, Playbacks. Now we can see which action is going at the time. And let's bring up the sequencer as well. With this, we can build up a sequence of actions by clicking on the actions and then clicking on Append. So we'll begin with stand, going into stand to walk, walk, and then walk to stand L. The sequencer will now get our agent to cycle through those actions, but first we need to switch off solo and turn IK on. And let's click on Alt I so we can see the IK. So let's go and play the simulation. And you can see here from the playback view that he is going through several actions. You can see that in the sequencer as well. Right. If we need to edit any of those actions, we can middle click on these to bring up the curves for the actions. And then in turn we can adjust the time curves a little if we need to. Now we've still got to do the walk to stand R. So let's go and select that. Actually, we can highlight walk to stand L and then replace. The first thing we're going to need to do is add another latch low to our walk action, and that's because right now the action only goes low at the end, which means no action can occur in the middle of the walk, and that's why we are going to be getting a little bit of a skip when it transitions from walk to stand R. There it is. So let's go to the walk action, click on the latch curves, insert a couple of points. So hold down the insert key and left mouse button and add another one. And let's just change that to 0. So now we have a latch we can add in the middle. So if we just turn solo on, you can have a look to see where the right foot is coming down, which is in the middle of action. So we want it to transition out around about there. So let's go and move this along. Right, that should do it. So let's go and try that out. Oops. Turn IK on and solo off. And let's go. Okay. Let's blend it fine. So, in this lesson, we set up all the transition and latch curves, and we've got all our agents to carry out the actions in the sequence.